Hello everyone, a warm welcome to my YouTube channel after a long time. As a full stack web developer, I created my first portfolio website using vanilla tools like HTML, CSS, and Vanilla JS. As and when the time progressed and my skills evolved, I always rebuilt my portfolio with the tools and languages that I was utilizing at that moment. The last recent update to my portfolio was almost about 3.5 years back when I rebuilt it with Next.js. Today, as a senior ServiceNow developer, I wish to unveil my new portfolio, which is built with ServiceNow. This is not just a project in ServiceNow, which is built as a portfolio, but it can be used as a product itself. And I would love to demonstrate what I have built. So let's get into the project. So hello all, welcome to Projects Portal. This is the portal side of my portfolio of my project. If you click on the link of my portfolio, you will be redirected to this portal page. I have built this portal page with the widgets and with the service portal designer feature of ServiceNow. And in this, I'll quickly walk you through the features of this portal. Here we have a header which shows the title, which shows the logo of the project. Then there are some quick login options. I'll come back to this in a while. Then we have a greeting message for the user in different languages. Then I have a quick overview of data. So there are three cards. One is live projects card. This is the count of the projects which are currently live or being. There is a status called launched, and then there is a status called ready to launch. So these is the count of projects in those two statuses. Then there are certain stories that are being completed. Then there are active users. One user is me, and then there is this experience workspace user, which I am going to come back in a while. Then here we have an all projects section. Here all the projects in this portfolio or in this projects application are being shown. So here if you see, this is the status of the project, this is the project number, the project logo, then there is a title, then there is short description, then there is description, and these are the web stack that I have used. And then there is this link to the application if it is already deployed somewhere. And as you see, here are some other projects which I had previously built. So this was my previous web development portfolio, and this is my new ServiceNow portfolio. So this ServiceNow portfolio I have also included as a project. So there are certain stories that I have written in this project, with which you can understand how the project was built. The details of it I'll again come back in a while I will explain you the login options. uh, and here we have a filters option as well, where if I filter with the other, then I will get some other features, this other projects. So if you see, this is a user guide demo project. I had just created it to take screenshots while creating the user guide, which is in fact attached to the description of the video or to the post of this video. Now if I can filter on also on the statuses. Let's say I do a under development, then there are no projects in this with this filter, so it shows me a empty state container as well. So, and I can also reset this. If I just go and click on the reset, then it resets to the default filter which I have kept like my development, because this is I am using this as my portfolio as well. So the default is on mine, and then if anyone else is adding, then it will come here. So this is the all project section. And if I have to show my old portfolio which I was talking about in the introduction, let me just quickly show you that once. This was developed in Next.js. This is my old portfolio. So coming back to the main portfolio now, which is in ServiceNow. So here if you see, I have created these other projects which are already deployed. These were my college projects, so I have mentioned them here. All this was in my previous portfolio, but now it's I have added them in this as well. And then there is a contact link section. Here you can see my resume, and here you can see the certificates that I have. Then the web development portfolio, basically the one which I showed. Then you can email me, you can go to my LinkedIn portfolio as well. And then there are some other YouTube projects, basically the video demonstrations of these projects itself, which you can have a visit to. And if you see, then this is a dynamic island. The header turns into a dynamic island when we scroll a little bit, and it turns again to a static one when we are at the top of the page. Okay, so coming to these options of login, one is a quick auth. Quick auth is just a login to show these images. I was already logged in, so these images are already visible. But if you just come to my project, you might not see these images at first. So by doing a quick auth, you will be able to see the images, as these are in the attachments table, which is uh, not not accessible by the public users. Then there is experience workspace, which is a guest workspace user login, which will enable you to create your own project, which will enable you to take actions on the projects. Basically the entire workflow of the projects, the entire workflow of the stories, you will be able to experience it using this login. And then there is a read code based login, which is a read only admin login, where you will be able to review all the code for this project. You can see all the widgets, you can see all the UI actions, all the workspace customizations that I have done to build these projects. uh, all is available, as it will be a admin login, but just with a read only mode. So let me now show you how the workspace user is basically. So I will do a login to the workspace, and we will be logged in into the workspace as a guest user. With this, I will showcase you how you can create your own project in the portal, and how you can manage to see the other projects. So just by clicking on the login, I am in the service operations workspace, which I have used to configure and customize on the projects. So here if you see, we have this projects list. I have added the projects list here, where we have predefined pre-filtered menus, we can see, like launched, ready to launch, and an all section. So in the all section, here you have all the projects. In the launched, you have only the launch projects. So these are the projects in the workspace side, which we previously saw on the portfolio portal. Then here I can create a new one by just clicking on the new, or if I want to see others, I can go and check out the others. Let me check out the first other one, so that I will show you how the structure of the project is. So here you can see the project information. Here you can see the related records. So like I was saying, I created few stories, I created few requirements for the project. Here you can see entire work stream. So the number, if I sort by number from the foundation till the notifications of this project, I have written step by step how I had built this project. Let me now quickly create a new project, so that we can go through the workflow. So if I go and click on new, I am showcased with a form, where I will say, let me say YouTube video demo. Now in the category, let me just take ServiceNow. In the stack I can add something like ServiceNow. Then in short description, let me like demonstration video. In the description I will write showcasing my project. Then it's not necessary to fill this additional information right at this moment. You can change the owner. You can select any user from the sys user table. Basically, let me, if I just write able, then I will get the famous ServiceNow user able tutor, but for now I will keep it as experience guest itself. Then I can attach an image, or I can write the website name, but right now, as this is a demo project, I am just going to save it. So as soon as I save it, a new project will be created, and here if you see, the status is new, the owner is shown, the project number, the name of the project is shown here, the project number also again is shown here, and we can see the form. I can update it as and when needed. Then in the related records, you can see there are no requirements, there are no stories as of now, and then there are no developers and no testers as well. So what I have done with this is, for each project, when a new project is created, there are two groups that are created with the project as well. So if you see, there is a project group, that is the developers group, then there is a testers group. Now to build on the project, to lay the foundation of the project, I will add new developers to my project. So by clicking on new, I can add new members. Let me add able as a developer, and let me add someone else as a tester. So I'll add Abraham as a tester. So I am set with my starting foundation. I have a developer, I have a tester, I am good to go with the project. So here we have requirements, and here we have stories. So to start creating requirements, I will mark this the status of the project as requirements gathering. So if I click on gather requirements, the status changes to requirements gathering. Now here in this phase, ideally we can create new requirements, we can create new stories. So let me now create a new requirement, and let's see the requirement workflow. So once I click the new button, I am given here the requirement. At this moment I can change it to development as well, so that if I come from a requirements page, or if I come from a development stories page, I can change the story type at this moment. So let me keep it as requirement itself, then I will show how the requirement is created. I will create a small requirement. I'm just typing what I'm thinking. So description, I'm giving a description for the requirement. Here there is an acceptance criteria, so given, when, and then. I am not filling them right now. Given, when, and then. Basically a story, what it demands is these fields. Now I will save this requirement, and let's say we have created this requirement to track. Now when we have functionally completed the requirement, we can close this requirement. Like after we have talked with the business or with the analysts and we are finalized with the requirements, we can close these requirements. And in case even if the requirement is closed, but do not have the capacity to take this as a development, we can move this to backlog as well. Now in this, let me close this requirement, and once I close the requirement, I can see there is an option to convert this to development story. So from a requirement, the development stories can be created directly from a closed requirement. Before doing that, let me show you a small error message that I have given. So let's say there is a closed requirement, but there are no stories in this project yet. Now if I click on start development, I will be shown a error that there are no stories in the project to start development. So uh, the filtering on showing the error is like, if I do not have any story in development, or if I have some stories in the backlog, sorry, in the draft state for the project, then I will be shown this error. Let me create one more requirement to show that error as well. To show error, description, errors, again given when, and then I'm just typing given, save, then again I will go to details, start development. So one requirements present in draft, move them to backlog or convert them to stories. So if I have to move, there are many stories, many requirements that I had just created and they are still in draft, but due to the urgency of the project, I have to start the development of the project and I have to bulk change the statuses. So what I can do is I can select and then I can move them to backlog. I can select multiple and then I can move them to backlog as well. So if I do move to backlog, then it asks me a confirmation, do we want to move it to backlog. Let me put these into backlog. Now I have put this into backlog. Okay, so from the backlog I can convert these into development as well, or I can create new for development as well. So let me select one and I will convert it to development. Okay, now if I go to stories, then it should be shown in the draft state. So the requirement was changed into a development story. Now in this development story, if I see, we have some more fields that are the technical notes, then the developer and tester who will be working on this. I'll come back to the workflow stories in a while. Let me before that start with the development of the project, and now I will not have any error. Let me click on start development. So as soon as I click on start development, you can see the status has changed to under development, and in this phase it is expected that the users will develop their stories, they will complete their stories, and once the stories are completed, we can initiate the user acceptance. But as user acceptance testing can also start when there are some projects, I'm sorry, some stories in draft or some stories that are yet to be completed. New requirements keep coming before the UAT, just before the start of UAT as well. So I have given the option to initiate the user acceptance for the project without having all the stories to be completed beforehand. But I have given a confirmation that the user wants the project to go into UAT testing with some stories in draft, let's say. So if I click on initiate user acceptance, I am shown a confirmation message to confirm if I am willing to start the UAT regardless of the status of the requirements or the status of the stories. So let me just confirm. and when I do OK, then I can see the UAT in progress status is shown. Now if I have to sign off the UAT, at this point you cannot sign off the UAT unless you have all the stories in complete state. So if I do a sign off UAT, then I am shown that there is one requirement in backlog and then there is one story that is not complete yet. So let me move this. Now if I now go to the story, let's see the story's workflow now. So I will add the technical notes. I am just adding here technically technical notes, not technical notes. Then developer, I will have to select from the assignment group, which is only one developer in my project and only one tester in my project. So yeah, now if I go and click on start work, then the story will move to work in progress. Now when I have moved the story to work in progress, at this moment there is one developer task created. So this is for the peer review. So once the developer completes his development, he will have to get the code reviewed by the peers or maybe by the supervisors. Functionally they can be someone senior to them or they can be someone at their seniority itself. So let me complete this task. For completing the task, I will go to the task, then I have to make it as closed approved, and then I will write closed, and then I will save it. Now I can go back to the story and then I can mark it as ready for testing because it is now been closed. Otherwise it will again give me an error on the peer review task not completed yet. So once it is in ready for testing, you can see there is one more task created for the tester now, that is to test this story and then mark this story as complete. So if I do a complete directly, it will give me an error that one task is still not closed approved. So let me do this task as closed approved as well. Closed approved. I am good with this story. Save. I'll close this too. And then I will complete this story. Let me refresh. Then I'm completing the story. Now I will move this requirement also again to development, convert to development, and then I am taking this notes, Abraham start work. Again I will close. Approved. Story can be moved to ready for testing. Now again this task. Okay, I'm good to start, complete the story and then start sign off the UAT. Now if I go and do a sign off to UAT, all my stories are complete, there are no pending requirements. I can go and sign off UAT. So once it is signed, the UAT has been signed off, you can see that the status changes to ready to launch. And here you can see there is one launch checklist that is shown here, basically the information for the launch date, the users that we are expecting, and then there is an auto launch feature. So I'll come to it in a while. Now before that, I have a checklist. So I have created a KB article, and I am showing that KB article in this window. So this is basically for the checks we should do before launching a project, and like, see if your website runs properly in pre-build, then all server configurations are capable enough, then there is a support team, there is a backup plan, everything is all set, then you should launch this project. So let me close this. Now I have a feature to launch the project. If I click on launch, it will directly change to launch, and it will populate this with the current time, and number of users is not a mandatory field, so it will remain blank itself. Or I have an option to do a schedule auto launch. So if I have to schedule auto launch, I have to first select this launch date. I am selecting a minute ahead, 5:15. Okay, and then I will do a schedule auto launch. Now in this I can add a remark to launch the project, and once I do OK, the project is set for auto launch. Here if you see, the auto launch is true, and all fields are read only now as it is ready to launch. In this moment, if I feel that the project I have launched it but it should have not been launched, I can go and cancel auto launch. So let me do that once, and if I do a cancel auto launch, again we have the auto launch is ticked off. We are again back to the normal ready to launch phase. Here I can do a launch, or let's again schedule it to a time. It's past this, so let me schedule it for 49. Okay, schedule auto launch. Okay, and then in a couple of seconds, because the time must be 30:35 now, and by 5:15:49 the project will get auto launched directly. So let's wait for it. Meanwhile, I will show you the activity stream. I have made it as a sidebar. Here you can see the status changes, the comments added during the auto launch, if the auto launch is cancelled, when is the auto launch scheduled again, and now and the given time the project has been auto launched. You can see the status change, you can see the status change here as well, and the project is now auto launched. In a launched phase, you will see a new UI action, that is the appreciate UI action. So for all projects which are launched, you can see there is an option to appreciate these launch projects. So anyone who is viewing the project, if it is a launch project, you can go and appreciate the project. And then there is an appreciation sidebar which shows the appreciations notes itself. So let's add one appreciation for such a nice project. Here I can select some options again: technically smart, relatable, user experience. Very nice project, very good project. I'll click on OK, and you can see the comment which I am added with the some selections that were pre-done. So it is shown in this appreciations flow. So this was about the project workflow. I covered the workflow for the stories, workflow for the requirements, how the project starts, how the project ends, end-to-end life cycle of the project, end-to-end life cycle of the components involved in the project, So this is basically my entire project. Now if you have to read the code, how I made these UI actions, how I configured this appreciation sidebar, how I added this activity stream sidebar, how I am creating these developers, dev testers lists. These are basically some uh, relationships that I have defined. So all this information you can read from the projects portal uh, project. Here in this projects portal project, in the related records stories, you can see everything. So the projects portal application scope, then the projects table, that is this table structure, then the structure for stories table, everything I have mentioned, the workflow, the UI actions, everything is mentioned in this, the widgets configuration, all this is mentioned. So from a workspace user login also you can see, let me just open this, you can see the how the projects portal was created itself. And here there are these artifacts, but if from a workspace user you won't be able to see these artifacts. So let's now see how the read only admin can be utilized to view this code base of the entire project. So I'll switch back to the projects portal and log in as a read only admin. So now I will log in as a read only admin. So if I go read code base login, I will be logged in as the read only admin. Now in this I have created this platform analytics dashboard where you can see the portal, the theme, the widgets, there are tables. Then these are basically, these tables could be added in as a list widget out of the box, so I have added those. But then these other scripts, mostly all the scripts could not be added directly, so I have added it in this also checkout section. So if I go on UI actions, I will see all the UI actions of the projects portal. So you can go and check all the UI actions of this project. Or if you want to go in a structured way, like I was explaining few minutes back, I can go to service operations workspace, I can go to the projects portal project. It's in all project 1035 in the related records stories. Let me open up this workflow story. Here you can see the attachments, all attachments are there, the short description, acceptance criteria. These stories are well written, there is no issues in the stories. You can technically see how the implementation is done, create UI actions. Then for each UI action, like there are certain conditions, right, which I was showcasing. All these are mentioned in this. Let me open up some other stories as well just to have a look. Let's say for the creation of groups, I will open this 1059. Here also it's a well written story, all the description is mentioned, all the technical notes are mentioned. There is one point that I missed to say, that to add the users in the group member, that is the add users to the group in this sys user gr member table, I created few ACLs as well, that the manager should be able to add the members. Now if I go and click on the business rule to check the business rule, then you can see the business rule code from here itself. Now here you can see in the advanced the script which is used. So all entire code base you can go and check out. You can utilize this projects portal to get it in a structured way, or in the dashboard also you can check out. So this was all about the project, this was all about my portfolio. here I have used extensively used, I would say, the widgets, the customized the portal, the customized the widgets on the portal, customize these layouts, these relationships, these business rules and all, heavily customized but heavily configured as well. And using out of the box, most of the things can are achieved. So yeah, this was the entire project. I hope you have liked this, and if you need any more information of the project, if you want to go into the details of the project, you have this read only admin access, or you can also check out the user guide of the project to understand how everything is working, the functional workflow in the project, which I demonstrated in a video, but I might have missed some points while making the video, which I will be covering in the user guide. So thank you all for your patience, thank you all for listening to this project. I hope you like it. Thank you.